Introduction. When I was approximately 10 years old, I remember a conversation I had with my grandfather about race. I'll begin by letting you know that he only had an eighth grade education, yet he was one of the smartest men I've ever known. As I reflect back on all of the books I've read, the seminars I've attended, and the audio programs I've listened to over the years, I realize that the most important lessons about life I learned from him. And he was by far my greatest teacher. He was a deeply religious man who never preached or tried to tell me what to believe about God, but he always made sure that I understood the importance of believing in a power greater than myself. He was definitely a man of deep faith with a deep spiritual connection to the God of his understanding. During our conversation, I asked him why God allowed black people to suffer so much. As a child, I noticed the atrocities inflicted upon black people, and I really wanted to understand why God allowed them to happen. As he looked at me with his loving, caring eyes, he could tell that I was a little upset with the question, and he caringly embraced me and instilled his deep wisdom. First of all, Michael, you must understand that God never makes mistakes. It's difficult for us to truly know God's purpose for things sometimes, but I trust in God's plan. And I know that ultimately his plan is always perfect. Since I believe in God's perfect plan, I must accept it, even when I can't fully understand it. I believe God has a perfect plan for black people, and though it may appear that God has deserted us, he hasn't, and he's always there for us. The key is for you to recognize that you must always play the hand that is dealt you. If God made you black, then that is the hand God dealt you, and it is your responsibility to play that hand. Remember, God does not make mistakes. The most important thing to remember is that your success depends on how you play the hand that you were dealt. Never question the hand. Simply learn to play it to the best of your ability. So if I had to sum up the key to my own success, I would sum it up with those words of wisdom from my grandfather. You must always play the hand that you were dealt. And if God made you black, then that is the hand God dealt you. Fortunately for me, I embraced these words of wisdom at a very young age, which has allowed me to overcome some seemingly insurmountable obstacles and build the life of my dreams. As a result of accepting this truth, I can say with absolute certainty and conviction that as a black man, I have never felt that the color of my skin was a disadvantage. In no way have I ever felt or believed that being black was a negative or bad thing. I have always believed that it was an asset, not a liability, and this way of thinking has empowered me to accomplish some pretty amazing things in my life. I have simply played my hand to the best of my ability. As I see it, one of the greatest challenges we have as black men is to recognize that being black is not a disadvantage. This does not mean that racism, discrimination, and a myriad of other challenges don't exist. It simply means that you have to accept the hand you were dealt and learn how to play that hand to the best of your ability. There are some people who believe that black men are an endangered species, and there is nothing that can be done to stop the eradication of the black male species. I, however, do not believe this nonsense. And it is my belief that black men are doing better than ever, and that the future is extremely bright for black men. I do not deny the challenges. I simply believe that there has never been an obstacle placed before black men that we haven't overcome. When I think about things like slavery, discrimination, prejudice, ignorance, and the negative media images of black men, I don't feel victimized. I personally feel inspired and empowered. I feel inspired that I belong to a group of men that epitomizes faith, determination, perseverance, persistence, and courage. I feel inspired because I recognize that despite all of the obstacles placed in front of us, we have found a way to thrive and flourish in a country that seemed to do everything in its power to keep us from succeeding. Therefore, I stand proud as a man who happens to be black, and I believe the best is yet to come. Our challenge is to change our mindset from that of victim to that of victor. We are not victims. Without question, we have been victimized. But that does not mean that we have to remain victims, because what happens to you isn't as important as what you do with what happens to you. Instead of feeling victimized, recognize that you are victorious despite what may have happened to you, if you choose to have a victorious mindset. We must embrace the idea that we are filled with unlimited potential and that it is our responsibility to access our innate magnificence and personal power. The time has come for us to begin empowering and supporting each other in reaching our full potential, and to be willing to share our wisdom with others to help them overcome their own struggles. Reach one and teach one must become our motto. And when we do this, we will begin to see the eradication of the majority of the social ills that currently plague our communities. And most importantly, it's time for us to recognize that the struggle is over. Being caught in the struggle is an antiquated mindset that will keep you trapped in mediocrity and the victim mentality. Yes, there are still challenges, but the doors of opportunity are wide open for those of us who are willing to walk through them and live the life of our dreams. Struggle is a choice. My suggestion is that you simply choose not to believe that your life has to be a struggle, and it won't be. This also means that we must eliminate the idea that society and white people are conspiring against us. It is my contention that the overwhelming majority of white people are definitely not racist and conspiring to keep us down. Most of them are supportive and caring and open-minded and want the same things that we do. We want to love and be loved. We want to feel that we make a difference. And we want peace of mind and a sense of purpose. Isn't that what you really want out of life? Of course it is. It's what all human beings strive for. No longer can we blame white people or society for us not accomplishing these things. If you want to be loved, to make a difference in the world, and to have inner peace and a sense of purpose, it is completely up to you. You simply have to believe that you're capable of attaining these things, and then get started in making them happen. As we move into 2015, let's declare that it is the year of infinite possibilities. Make a commitment to yourself that you are going to live an extraordinary life, and that there is nothing that can keep you from it. Know that you already have everything you need to make this a reality for yourself, but that it is definitely going to take a considerable amount of effort on your part. It may be difficult, but I can promise you that it will be worth it. My commitment is to share my experience and wisdom to support you on your journey. The good news is that you do not have to do this alone. There are lots of other men and women who will support you if you are willing to seek the support. This book is my attempt to share some wisdom and knowledge with you that can encourage and motivate you to create your best life ever. If I can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles to live an extraordinary life, then I know that you can too. You just have to be willing to take the first step. And I believe if you're reading or listening to this right now, you have done just that. Congratulations on taking the first step to live an extraordinary life. I look forward to seeing you along the way. Never forget, you must always play the hand that you were dealt. And if God made you black, then that is the hand God dealt you. And rest assured that it is a positive hand. No matter what color you are, it's perfect. Just play the hand you were dealt to the best of your ability, and you too will live an extraordinary life.